What is going on, boys? Sekapoko here, bringing you another One Piece Treasure Cruise video. For this, we're going over the tier list for February 2018. For this, we're going over the changes with the new 6+ Croc, the new 6+ Barto, as well as the brand new Legend Franky and the new Legend Robin. We're also going to talk about what the new batches that brought into the game actually did to the tier list, and you'll be able to see all the cool things along with that. If you guys have never been here before, make sure you guys hit the like button down below, as well as the subscribe button down below, so we get lots of support in the channel. Of course, keep the channel growing. If you guys do want to get notifications on all my videos, make sure you hit the bell notification right next to it so you get notifications every time I drop a video. Without further ado, let's go into the tier list. So if you guys have never been here before, if you've never seen one of the Sekapoko tier lists, this is the fifth update? I keep losing track. There's so many. We're trying to keep them up to date every single month. We've done a lot. We do them like almost every single month. The goal is to make sure that everybody understands where the power creep is, understands where everything is. So there's a lot of people that actually do help out on these tier lists. With special thanks, of course, to Boris, Totsuki, Trop, Muta, Moe, Rose, Chato, Kara, Azura Mothan actually helped out this time, which was really great. Maniac 1, Justin Tagaki, and Foggy Chaos. Foggy, not so much because he says no hate tier list, but I put him in here anyways because I love him. Oh, and Atsu. Why do I keep forgetting Atsu? The first stage we're going to have here, of course, is the brand new 6+ Crocodile. 6+ Crocodile, if you didn't know, is going to be a 3.5 captain at 1 HP, and it's at full HP, he's going to be a 2x captain, which has really shored up his weaknesses and actually improved his strength, so that's really, really great. The other thing that they did is this other weakness was his special ability, and they're making it so that he has actually a 20% HP cut instead of damage, which is insane. They also removed the HP restriction on his 2x boost, making him an extremely great captain. It was really obvious where to put Croc on this tier list. When we were doing damage calculations and trying to figure out what he was going to do as a unit, overall he is definitely better than Inarashi as a cerebral captain. You get more viability. You can pair him with the new version 2 Reroll, whereas Inarashi you have to use chain boosting and you can't use chain locking. With the introduction of a new character that was just announced today, the brand new Koala, you might see a change with Inarashi teams. I mean, there might actually be Koala plus Inarashi might be a really, really good combination to boost chain multiplier even further. I'm not really sure. I'm gonna have to do some damage calcs on that and really figure out where that is. The Koala might have thrown things in the mix a little bit and made this a little bit different. But for right now, we're gonna keep Croc at number 4 and we're gonna put Inarashi down to number 5. Overall, though, Inarashi is a really great captain, and you can run Inarashi as a captain versus Croc as a captain, depending on the content. Either way, they pair really well together. One is a sub and one is a captain, or using both as captain, one is friend captain, one is a normal captain. And if you have the new Koala there, then you have other teams that can build off that. So there's a lot of different viability that you can bring with those units. Very cool units to use no matter what. Really, really awesome overall. Now, there wasn't really a lot of changes as far as best typings go in One Piece Treasure Cruise. Sai is still pretty much the best. I'd say that Sai is probably going to start losing out to other types here a little bit, but still really, really strong. Strength, obviously very, very good and still staying strong. Quick is very good as well, and then Dex. And I'd say all 4 of them are a lot closer together, and they're so close together that Int is just like this far behind, and here's like the top 4 types, and then here's Int as far as the power gap between the two. I'd say that they're like way up here and Int's like way down here. They're not like evenly spread out. So don't worry about if I'm saying Dex is not as strong as Quick. I mean, they're really close together. It's hard to... At this point in the game, we're seeing a lot more colors getting a lot more love, so we're definitely seeing a shift there, but it doesn't matter as much because those 4 are super strong, whereas the last one is super weak. The first thing we're going to see in the quick category is we're going to see a major shift, and whereas Franky gets put in at number 1 on the quick category, just for the phenomenal abilities he brings and how good this unit is. He is such a strong unit. I couldn't even believe when they were talking about how good this unit was. What I don't know, though, is if you pop one Franky special, it triggers both Frankies, and I'm really not sure if it does or not, but the fact that you can use him as a rainbow lead and you can use a lot of different other friend captains and use hybrid teams, that part's really, really great, and I love that. Unfortunately, you can't use Blackbeard with him, which is kind of annoying. However, he is a really strong unit overall anyway, so it doesn't really matter too much. The V2 Lucci doesn't really move down in the tier list. Franky just is above him, and it just looks, he like sinks in the spot above V2 Lucci. So V2 Lucci is still extremely strong, but just not as strong as Franky. Just this close though, this close. The fact that Franky gets a captain action, which is super, super good, and like has all these weird mechanics along with it, and the fact that V2 Lucci is an orb manipulator versus Franky being a type booster for 4 different types is so good. You can use Franky on a bunch of different teams. If you wanted to run any free spirit team, you wanted to run any striker team, whatever team you want to run, as long as they're striker, fighter, slasher, shooter, you get a boost of those units. It's insane. It's a really, really good team. Essentially, he's a 2 times rainbow boost, which is great. If you're running this on like a Kuzan team, you're running this on like a Lucy team, even though you wouldn't need the type boost on the Lucy team, you could run that. That's insane. The amount of combinations he has is phenomenal. I really, really like that. The fact that you can run a Lucy Franky team too is also really cool. I might play with that later on. We'll see how as time goes on. The new 6+ law for version 2 law is actually going to move up in the tier list, which is really great. Whereas Kuzan and law kind of remain in their same spots and stagnate there. The new V2 law 6+ is actually really, really good with the new cerebral badges that have been coming out, as well as all the new units there. So what was really holding him back was actually good subs, and with the introduction of the new 6+ Crocodile, the Legend Robin badge, as well as all the subs that are coming out with the Legend Robin badge, is going to make this new V2 law really, really amazing. The fact that he has like 45-something thousand HP, heals a buttload every single turn, and he has pinch healing at lower values, as well as a 200k wave clear and a 2.25 order boost, there is no reason this character cannot be that high up in the tier list. He is so, so strong. Overall, he is getting ramped to make Cerebral super great, and I really love that about this unit. And the fact that we don't have to be low HP to use Crocodile as a captain anymore, plus the new Nami coming out, is so strong, and it's so hard to move him down lower in the tier list. So he is definitely going to take the number 3 spot on the tier list. We're going to move Kuzan down, of course, to number 4 because the 6+ law is actually just taking so much storm, and we're going to the V2 law stays in the same spot. The new change here is the new Bartolomeo is extremely good. Now with all 7 of these units, 8 of these units if you include Enel, if we go all the way even down, I'd say Enel is where the power cap kind of cuts off. The new Bartolomeo, as well as the TS Luffy, as well as Striker Law, all of these units are so, so good. And I was actually considering putting Barto above TS Luffy a little bit because of what you can use in Striker and Driven teams, as well as having the anti-death hit and Orb Boost Type Boost with 1 unit. All of that with the Barto is so good. I really, really like that. But TS Luffy is still an extremely strong captain, and we're getting a lot of free spirit stuff coming out, so I definitely don't want to move him down. TS Luffy actually might overtake the V2 Striker Law at some point very soon, which is actually really, really cool. I like that TS Luffy is going to be having a comeback. Great job. I really do like that he is having a comeback, and we might see some really good play with him coming out very soon. So stay tuned for when we see more and more free spirit units as yet to come. Now the next thing on this tier list, which is going to be super controversial, and everybody's going to talk about this, and they're going to rage. Oh, even Totsuki's mad at me for this. Totsuki is still mad at me. Not really mad, just like, well, I don't know about this, man. Alright, so the number 1 class is going to be Driven. And the reason the number 1 class is Driven is because all the current content, as well as the new subs coming out, the orb manipulation you get from Driven, the power you get from Driven, the speed clears you get from Driven, all of that together is so freaking strong, it is impossible to put anybody higher. And the reason Driven is so strong is because of all the limit breaks that come along with Driven. Now, getting full orbs matching every single turn is insane. Imagine you're playing your Strong World Shanks team, but instead of a 2.75 multiplier, you have a Rainbow team with almost a 4x multiplier all the time. You're doing like 3 mil plus on like random turns. It's insane. As far as endgame content goes, it's so, so strong. If we're talking mid-game content and you don't have your characters limit broken fully and the characters aren't, right there, that's not what a tier list is for, unfortunately. The tier list is not to help mid-game players understand where the mid-game is. It is supposed to tell you what is the strongest unit at the current moment in time, with the strongest teams at the current moment in time. And that is why the tier list is structured the way it is. So, Driven is going to take the number 1 spot. Holy crap, they're strong. In fact, you can use Judge Dofi teams, you can run double Dofi teams, double Judge teams, all of it with full Driven. All of those are so, so, so strong. And they have perfect orb manipulation, lots of utility on them. There's just no reason they can't be number 1. The number 2 is going to be Powerhouse. And the reason Powerhouse stays the same and Striker moves down, this is where Totsuki's mad at me, by the way. The reason Powerhouse is above Striker is because every Striker unit that's out there that is really good is good because they also have Powerhouse units that do the same thing and they have the same boost mode. So the Boa sisters paired together, they're actually Powerhouse Striker boosters. Nekomamushi for Striker Nekomamushi, he's also Striker Powerhouse, so he's also going to be a Powerhouse character. There's a lot of other Powerhouse units coming out. We have Judge as the number 1 Powerhouse lead in the game. There's tons of different characters that you can have in these teams that are Powerhouse. You have perfect orb manipulation with Powerhouse, whereas Striker are actually lacking a lead, which is really weird. The best striker teams are going to be either Lucy teams or Nekomamushi teams. But the thing with Nekomamushi teams, we're seeing from the brand new Pedro Coliseum as well as a lot of other content, is every time you get tandem orbs, meat orbs, bomb orbs, or whatever kind of switch orbs, and you get screwed over by those kinds of orbs, that can actually lead to your death very, very quickly, which is insane. So the fact that all that is happening and we're getting all that coming in right now is making Powerhouse just a little bit better than Striker. We're not talking miles different. We're talking that those two classes already were like neck and neck, and now Powerhouse is starting to outstrip Striker. If we look at the top legends in every category, we're seeing a lot more Powerhouse at the top end of those legend tiers, and we're seeing a lot less Strikers. They're starting to fall down. They may have Striker as a separate class, but those separate classes aren't even used on other teams. So whereas Powerhouse units can be used on other teams, you can use the whole Judge badge is Powerhouse, which is insane. But the highest damage teams you can make with Powerhouse are with Judge Captain, and those outstrip the Striker damage teams, which is really, really crazy. And the fact that you can fit more utility on the Powerhouse teams, get damage reduction along with them, just makes them overall just better. This is also kind of a controversial change. Cerebral, with all the new badge changes as well as all the new leads being introduced, the new 6+ Crocodile, version 2 Rayleigh, all the other units being introduced right now with the Legend Robin badge is going to move Cerebral to the number 4 spot. And the reason the number 4 spot is picked here is because everything that Slasher has that made them a good class, Cerebral has, but it's better. But by this much. It's not like a lot different. Now, the thing with these top 5 classes is that they are so close together versus the bottom 3 classes. So this is the power gap between the top 5 classes right here and the bottom 3 classes. There's actually a massive gap between the two. We're seeing a lot more driven Powerhouse, Striker, Cerebral, and Slasher teams are going to be coming up in the next couple months, whereas Free Spirit, Shooter, and Fighter teams have fallen way down. And we're seeing a lot less of this. Even with Franky being introduced, Shooter teams are still really good, but we're going to have Senior Pink coming out in like 2 days. So definitely Senior Pink is going to make Free Spirit above Shooter, and Shooter's still lacking that 2x Orb booster. There's a lot of things that Shooter is missing, and what I think right now, even though they got a good captain with Franky, to be honest, even if you use the special ability, the captain with Franky, Shooters don't really get everything you want out of them with the boost there. So I'm not thinking that Shooter is going to be the number 1 class. I'd say that if you're going to be using Franky, Fighters are so good on a Franky team. I think Franky is probably like the best fighter lead in the game, because with Franky, if you're using the double 4x boost there, you're actually getting you're using Franky and getting a 1.25 attack on all your fighters. So that's really, really strong. The fact that you get the 4x plus you get everything else with the type boost that you're getting from Franky, and you get to use the 1.25 multiplier that you're getting because you're inside the general Franky. All of that together makes it really, really strong. So fighter is really good, but you know what? The thing is, like, there's a lot of other Shooter teams that are better, which is really weird. I was actually building a lot of teams before I did this tier list, and I was trying to figure out what's better for Shooters, what's better for Fighters, what's for Free Spirit. And the thing is that Shooter teams are super strong right now versus Fighter teams, but not like miles different again. Again, here's the power gap for the first top 5 classes and the bottom 3 classes. There's a massive power gap between the two. You're seeing Slashers, they'll have that Fujitora captain. They also have the Adventure Mode Mihawk and a lot of other units that really provide a lot of utility, whereas Free Spirit, Shooter, and Fighter teams are kind of just like falling off. And I'm hoping you're going to see some love for those characters coming out in a little bit with the new Free Spirit Senior Pink being able to put it on any Free Spirit team. So if you had the new Franky, you want to use it with the Treasure Mode Ace, any character that has a Free Spirit side captain, you're able to use those. So that's really good to be able to see Senior Pink as a 1.75 conditional. As far as Dex goes, we're not really going to see too much change here at all. I just put in some of the artworks. We see Doflamingo, Rayleigh, Blackbeard, Zoro, Magellan, all them. There's no really change, and I left Crocodile in here because Crocodile can be used as a deck character too. However, you may not want to do anything there. I mean, you would probably 6+ him. You never keep 2 unless you're like a super Omega Whale. I know some people like that. For Sai, we're not going to see too many major changes. Judge going to be number 1, Neko number 2, G4 number 3, just like last time. And Shirahoshi is actually going to be moved up in the tier list. The reason Shirahoshi is going to move up in the tier list here from the number 4 best Sai legend is because consistently she's been like a go-to captain. If you're not able to clear content, she's so strong as a friend captain or as your own captain or as a sub. And she's used in a lot of different teams just to help you clear the content. And the fact that she does the rainbow orb so that, like in this new Pedro Coliseum and a lot of other new Coliseums, she's extremely useful, is really, really good. I really like her as a captain and as a sub. Overall, she's just an amazing unit. So it's really hard to move away from her as a unit and say that she is a lower tier unit. And to be honest, she's just super, super good. There's nothing to do. She's one of the best limit breaks in the game, if not the best limit break in the game. It just exacerbates how good her kit is. So that's really, really great. The new Robin is going to come in at number 5, just below Shirahoshi. And the reason she's going to move there is because she's a 3.25 universal cerebral captain. So that's really, really great. There's no condition on her captain ability. If you don't know what she does, make sure you check out my previous video that goes over what new legend Robin does. Overall, the fact that she has a 100% damage negation, which is unheard of in this game for a really good unit, and gives 3 matching orbs on cerebral teams is super, super strong. As a sub on a lot of cerebral teams, that is an amazing sub. So I really like that. She's going to fit really well on Croc and Rayleigh teams to give matching orbs, as well as full damage reduction, so that if you were ever going to take a death hit, or if you're going to take damage on that turn, or if you have to 2-turn a boss, you can negate damage entirely. If you got the boss below 20%, it wouldn't even matter because you have the Robin special, and you can 2-turn the boss. That's so, so strong. If the boss does like a bind mechanic, or paralyze mechanic, or knockout mechanic, then you'd be kind of screwed. But if the boss just does damage, it's full negation. That part's super, super great. I love that a lot. We actually have a little bit of controversy between Borsalino and Boa. A lot of people are split on this between the Borsalino and Boa Hancock. And the reason they're split on this is because people say, well, Boa Hancock is the best shooter captain in the game, and Borsalino is not the best shooter captain in the game, and he's just an orb manipulator, but Boa does what he does for 2 turns. I'm like, okay, that's great. But then Borsalino also does it for slashers. Well, then you have Fujitora, and Fujitora is really good, and you're the captain. Well, you don't always use Fujitora on a slasher team, to be honest. And the other thing that made me finally decide to keep him at number 6 and V2 Boa at number 7 is that the new Franky was just introduced, right? And he is an amazing character, amazing captain. However, you're going to be using rainbow teams. Well, how are you getting orbs on your rainbow teams? The best way to get orbs on your rainbow teams is going to be your Borsalino, because if you have any character that is a slasher or a shooter, you can actually hybrid your teams out to have slasher and shooter characters on the same team. So if you wanted to run a Dex Flamingo or into Flamingo inside your Franky team, then you have a 2x orb boost for a universal orb booster on your team if you don't have Legend Flamingo. And you can use Borsalino for 4 matching orbs, as well as a lot of other units to give you the conditional boost that you need. You can use Raizo in there or whatever you need, and utility units. So that's a really great way to use Borsalino and make sure that you have a great orb manipulator on your team. The thing with V2 Boa is that you would have that for 5 matching orbs for only colored orbs, and you don't have anything besides Raizo to give you the full matching orbs on those types of teams. And there's a lot of different teams that Borsalino can be good on. You can run him as a sub on an Adventure Mode Mihawk team, but you can't run Fujitora on that team because you would have to run a Fujitora captain in order to get that for the max damage. So the thing with Borsalino is he's still useful and still used. The fact that he's not quote-unquote optimal is not really a thing that I'm going to put in this tier list, because the thing is, Borsalino can be used with more versatility than the V2 Boa can, and V2 Boa is a one-trick pony. To be honest, the fact that she delays is also good, but as you saw in the Enel fight, that was actually really bad to have a delayer on your team. The character that did delay would actually screw you over. That you could delay the boss, but when you did delay the boss, they actually had a counter mechanic that screwed you over. That is actually something that may be taken into place for other future content, and that's the reason I'm going to keep Borsalino at the number 6 spot and Boa down to number 7. It's a split vote right now. Toadski and Boris are right now our team Boa, whereas I'm on team Borsalino, and we have a couple other people in the Discord that are on team Borsalino, a couple other on Boa, but I'm going to stick to my guns here, and I'm going to say Borsalino is better than V2 Boa. As far as the in-tier list go, so there's not really any changes here. We're going to keep V2 Fujitora at number 1. We have Inhodi at number 2. Then we got Mihawk. Sanji might move down, to be honest. I'm really on the fence on this one. I might actually put Fujitora above Sanji because of how you can pair Fujitora with the Version 2 Gofi and use that as a driven lead. Plus, Fujitora is still useful as a captain because of that 20% HP cut that you can roll to multiple turns if you're not able to kill the boss in 1 turn. So that part is really, really nice. I do like that about the Fujitora, and I might move him a little higher. The thing with Sanji is that Sanji is moving down and down and down and down in viability, and he was kind of like a one-trick pony when he came out. There is content that he is really great for, and I've done a lot of multiple team videos with the Sanji and having Sanji in here, but the thing with Sanji is that he's good, but not for a lot of content. He's a great mechanic, but he's not good for a lot of content. As a sub, he's amazing, but now we can have the Zunisha ship, so now we don't need meat matching orbs or tandem. He's a black orb changer. I don't really care about that, because I have Kuma. Overall, Sanji is probably going to move down the tier list if we don't see something amazing with Sanji and make him a little bit better as a lead. So the last part of the tier list here, we're going to have this little thing called What Should I Reroll For? Now, I got a lot of people on my Twitch channel, as well as a lot of people in YouTube comments ask me, hey, I'm rerolling for these legends. I don't know what legends to reroll for. That's a great question. I will help you out. Here's the tier list video describing that. In the tier list, the top 5 units to reroll for are going to be Judge, Franky, Doflamingo, the version 2 Rayleigh, as well as the new Lucy. All 5 of these units are extremely strong and definitely some of the top units in the game, as well as if you pull any of them, they are really good with a lot of different teams. Version 2 Dofi is actually a really tricky character to use, and I was really considering not putting him on this list as far as a character to reroll for. However, if you did reroll him with the majority of his batch or his entire batch, that's extremely good, an extremely good reroll. So I would say that, yeah, that would be a great character to start the game with if you can get all driven on your team. Judge is a rainbow captain that you can just use any colored turtles or dragons to start with, so you can actually just have a 4 dragon team and just blow through the entire game with dragons. That's really, really strong. You can't really get away from that. If you have the Judge batch on that, you reroll enough of the Judge batch, that's also really good. So you get a lot of Psy Orbs matching, so it's great. With the new Franky, Franky's a really strong captain. It has an amazing captain action, it has a lot of wave clear, so if you use his captain action and you actually use like a shooter or a striker team to just like wave clear all the ads, it actually can go a lot faster, so I do like that about him. New Rayleigh is just flat out amazing. Best rainbow captain in the game. Holy crap, this character's good, because there is no condition on his captain except for low threshold HP, and there are tons of different ways of getting low HP besides, you know, just taking damage, because that's great. Whereas Judge, you have to use all rainbow characters. Rayleigh might be a little bit better as a rainbow captain because he's less restrictive. Plus, you can use free spirit subs, cerebral subs in those teams, and use free boosters to get a lot of different characters on here. So there's a lot of options that you're gonna have in the next couple Sugos. Lucy, always a great captain. Can't really go over him as any worse or better. He's just always good. The thing with all 5 of these units is they're the best units that you can reroll for in the entire game. Now, there's a lot of other units that you can reroll on the side. And the thing with legend accounts is that usually when you're rerolling, you're going to have more than one legend account. If you have any of these units plus one of these 5 units over here, that's an amazing account to start. When I started the game, I only started with the legend Marco, and that was it. There wasn't like this giant pool of legends out there. Just having legend Marco on the account enabled me to do a lot of different content. So having Shirahoshi, Blackbeard, Buggy, Marco, or the new Robin is really going to enable you to do a lot of different content, which is really, really great. The thing with Robin, the reason I put her on this list is because with the new Robin, you're able to negate any damage in the game. And there's a lot of content early on or things that you get in trouble with where you're like, wow, that damage hit I cannot take. I can't stall this character. I have no immunity. What do I do? Oh, wait, I'll use the Robin, and then I'll just instantly survive any death mechanics. So that's really great. I would have put Barto in here, but the thing with Barto is this cooldown is so long, I really didn't want to put it in here. It's like a 20-something turn cooldown to start with, and that as a character to start with the game with, that's a really bad character to start with because of how long his cooldown is. Now, when you get him limit broken and all the other stuff with him, then it's good, but if you're rerolling for accounts, honestly, why would you do that? Just use Robin. It's way better. Overall, Buggy, really great to do. And the reason Buggy's here is because Buggy is really good for early game players. You would not believe how good Buggy is. The reason he's so good is because, hey, oh my god, I got to follow around with these evolvers. Oh my god, I've heard turtles. Oh wait, I have Buggy. I just dupe everything. Super, super good. And Blackbeard, oh my god, they have mechanics that I can't get around. Oh wait, I can just use Blackbeard to go through them. Great. Shirahoshi and Marco, oh my god, I'm going to take too much damage in this fight. I'll just heal to death. Shirahoshi, really, really good. Marco, probably needing a little bit buff. He's probably the last unit I would say would be on this list if they were going to be tiered in any way. Whereas any of the units on the left-hand side of the screen, any of them are great. Just reroll for any of those 5 as well as paired with any of these 5 units over here, and you should have a really good account. If you get any more legends on that, that's all gravy and bonus. So very, very good. Alright guys, well that's going to do it for the tier list video. My name is Sekapoko. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed the tier list that we brought to you by color. If you guys did enjoy the video, make sure you hit the like button down below, as well as the subscribe button down below, so we get lots of support in the channel, and of course keep the channel growing. If you guys want to see the previous video, I'll make sure to put it in the end screen right after this, so you can see where we were. You'll be able to see every tier list preceding that. So it's really great so you have all that content. If you guys want to get notifications on all my videos, make sure you get the bell notification right next to it, so you get notifications every time I drop a video. Have a great rest of your day, guys. Peace.